Hey everyone, welcome to Affinity Layout. Hopefully, if you guys follow along at the end of this video, we'll all have something like this. To better assist everybody in their learning process, we have a more detailed guide on our website, as well as all the images that are used, so please check that out. I'll leave a link down in the description below. Okay guys, so when you open Affinity, it's gonna look something like this. We're gonna go up to this green button here to create a new document. And what we're going to do is scroll down into the CYMK layers. And for this particular example, I'm gonna create a letter sized page. So on the right, you're gonna see that there's going to be a bunch of selections. Now the ones that you guys should be paying attention to is the document units. We're gonna leave that in inches. The DPI, so the higher the DPI, the bigger the file and the more clarity your images have. And then the page width and height. Everything else we can leave as is. I do like to check on the multi-page, meaning there's going to be multiple pages in our document. For the margins, I like to keep things at a 0.625, but obviously change that to what you guys need it to be. And a standard bleed is 0.125 inch, so we're going to leave that as is. After we're comfortable with everything that's going on here, we can go ahead and create the document. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on the screen right now. It's okay if your screen does not look like mine exactly, but generally what's going to happen is on the top, we have our switch between vector, pixel, and layout. If you're familiar with Adobe, it's going to be something similar to the lines of Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign all together on the top. On the left of the page is going to be our standard toolbar. So everything from our selection tool to things like the frame text tool, we have a table tool, we have a rectangle tool, we have a picture frame rectangle tool. All of these are tools that we're going to be using to create our layout. That's all found on the left-hand side toolbar. On the top here, we have several settings like our document setup, as well as app settings, as well as anything that you pin to the top of the toolbar here. Check out my other 10 tips video right here if you want to learn a little bit more about that. On the right here, we have adjustments and adjustments of properties. So for example, things like color stroke, layers, characters, paragraph. Think about things that you want to adjust, like how wide your text is, what color it is, anything that you're thinking of adjusting. Most likely it's going to be found on this right hand side here. In order to move the page around, we can either hold space and then drag our mouse around like this. We can also use the middle mouse button to move the canvas around. You can also go all the way down here to the left here to the view tool and also move your canvas around. If we want to zoom in, we can also go down to the tool underneath here, drag our mouse in and out in order to zoom in and out. Alternatively, we can hold down Control or Option on the Mac. Using your scroll wheel on your mouse, you can also zoom in and out. Now let's talk pages and master pages. You can think of pages as you would in a book. I can add pages to the left here by going to the add page icon and then clicking OK, depending on how many pages I want to add. And you can do this infinitely to however many pages you actually need for your book. A master page is a different thing where if you put something on it, it's going to show up on every single page that is assigned to that master. Let me show you guys what I mean. So if I go ahead and just add a master page, click OK here, it's going to give me the exact same page as what we have in our actual layout. Now, one of the most common things that you're going to want to add to a master page is your page number. So if I go ahead and go into the frame text tool right here, and then I just drag out a nice tiny little box for my page number, I right click this, I go into my insert fields, and I put in a page number. I'm actually going to move this to the right. So here you can see that a bar on the top has popped up. We're going to adjust this so that it is aligned to the right. We're going to also adjust the text of this to be a little bit smaller, so something like 8, because you don't want your page number to be super big. And over here on the right, we can actually turn down something like the color, so we can adjust the color of our page number. We can also turn down the opacity, meaning how dark it is on the actual page itself. And we can also reposition it by using the move tool. So if I go back to the move tool and I move where this actually is, I can move where I want that page number to show up. Great, we have this set up on our masters A. Now, if we go back into pages and we right click, apply master, and make sure we have master A selected, I'm actually gonna assign master A to every single page, and then I'm going to hit OK. So now you can see that on our page, the page number 1 is actually coming through, which is exactly what I want. Similarly, if we go down to page 3, which is right underneath 1, it's also going to have 3. Now let's talk layers. Layers is going to be found on the right hand side, most likely. If you guys don't see layers, it's going to be in Window, go into General, and all you have to do is check on the Layers tab. It's going to bring this up and it's going to have all the different layers that you have on the page. Now, layers are basically ways to have things on top or below one another on the actual page itself. For example, if I go over to the rectangle tool and I create a nice little gray rectangle, and I also create a text by going over to the text frame tool, and I create a text right on top of this, and I type something like LYH Studio, for example. So now you can see that I, first of all, don't know how to spell, but second of all, the LYH Studio text is on top of our gray box. You can see that in the layer, that is also how it's organized. The text layer is on top of the rectangle layer. If I drag the text box underneath the rectangle, you can see it's actually going to go below the rectangle. We can also do things like lock layers. So if I hover over the little eyeball here and I lock the rectangle layer, you can see that when I try to select both of these elements by dragging my mouse, it's only going to select the text layer. If I lock both of these layers, I'm not going to be able to select anything here. It also makes it easier to turn on and off what you want to see and what you don't want to see by looking at this eyeball, which is toggle visibility. Now, all you have to do is turn it on and off, toggle it on and off in order to turn on or off the layer. It does not delete anything, it's just a temporary visibility change. One of the most important tools that we have at our disposal when creating layouts is guides. And in order to create guides in Affinity, we have to go up to View, Guides, and it brings up this tab. So for this particular layout, we're going to use something like a 6-column and a 2-row guide. I'm going to change the gutter all the way down to 0.1 inch. You can see it change in the background here, and I'm going to go ahead and just click close. Now that we have our guides, we're going to import in our image. You can go over to the frame tool or the picture frame rectangle tool, and I'm going to drag it all the way out from our bleed mark to around the middle of the page. Next, all you have to do is find your image on your local computer. So I want to put this image into this frame right here. I just have to drag it into the frame. You can adjust these handles to adjust the size of the actual image itself. You can also turn this around on the top. So if I go ahead and rotate this, if you guys also select this, there's also 2 other bars. So there is this, which allows you to move the picture inside of the frame, and there's also this which allows you to adjust the size of the image inside the frame. Another important thing that we need to understand in Affinity Layout is how images are fitted. So here I have the frame with the image inside. If I right click and go into my frame properties, you can see that there is something called scale to max fit, which is what I have right now. It's going to stretch that image to the size of your actual frame. Now if I change this to something like scale to minimum fit, it's going to try to fit the entire image in. So now you see that there are going to be white bars on either the top, bottom, left, or right, depending on what your orientation of your image is. I'm going to use this method to add another frame on the top of the page here, drag my other image in here, position it just so this little house is inside the picture. I can also adjust the corner. So if I want to round this corner, I can go ahead in the top adjustments, round this corner, and then turn this so that it's not quite so rounded as I had just now. If we want to preview anything on our page to see what it looks like without all this messy guides, we can use the shortcut key Control-Shift-W in order to preview. So this is what our page looks like without all the guides, and looks pretty good. To add text on the page, we have to navigate over to the left to the frame text tool once again. And let's say I'm adding a title right here. I'm going to drag out an approximate box of where I want that text to be. It does not have to be perfect. We can adjust it later. And I'm going to type in what I want as a title. Okay, you can see that right now it's a little bit small. So I'm going to highlight everything. And I'm going to change it first to the font that I want to use. So for example, if I want to use Futura, I can expand this and choose the font that I actually want. Let's say it's something like a heavy. I can also adjust the size of this. Let's say I want something a little bit bigger. We're gonna use a 36 font. We can also adjust things like the color. So there's an inside color and an outside color to any element that you create. And the inside color is going to be called the fill, where the outside color is going to be called the stroke. You can find that over here in these two circles. It's also down here on the left as a quick access. So for example, if I want the stroke, so if I click the stroke and I want it to be a nice bright pink, you can see that my text already has that stroke. And if I want to change the fill, which is the inside color, I click on the fill so that it is forward. And then I'm going to change this to whatever color I think makes sense. A little trick that I like to use is to sample a color inside the actual picture itself. So for this one, we're going to use this color picker tool. I'm going to sample a little bit of a darker color, something like that. And if I go ahead and preview this, you can see that it's going to just feel like it belongs with the actual layout itself. On the right, we're going to populate it with some more text. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the frame text tool one more time. I'm going to drag out a text box. So this is where my body text is going to go. I'm not gonna type anything out here, but what we can do is right click on this text box, insert it with filler text. I'm gonna change this to something that's a little bit more reading friendly. Okay, so it's fitted out with our teacher's favorite text, Times New Roman. I'm going to increase the column here. So I'm going to change this into 2. Right now, the middle is a little bit too big. So I'll manually adjust this to something like a 0.1 inch. And you can see that my text will adjust automatically. With the move tool, all I have to do is move this around. If I feel like it, I can even create a caption on the bottom here. And just like that, we created something that looks super aesthetically pleasing that follows a nice grid structure. Now, the last thing that we have to do is export our file. So we go into File, Export. And if you hit export, it's going to give you a bunch of different options, which is great. For this particular case, and for most of the cases, you're going to want to either export in a JPEG or you're going to be wanting to export in PDF. So let's go ahead and export this for a print PDF. It's going to give you a number of options that you can adjust. Most of the time, we can just leave it as is and then export to a location that we think makes sense. Now, here it is on my Explorer, and here it is open in Google Chrome. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.